Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back once again to another awesome session with Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have everybody tuning in. You already know what to do as we come on the scene. Make sure you meet me, make sure you greet me. I want to speak to you. Tell me hello. I want to know where you're tuning in from. Coach Steele's Finance Training is an international platform. We have people from all over listening. I am your host, Coach Steele, and glad to be back in the building again with another awesome session. Whether you're listening in on Facebook, whether you're listening in on YouTube or Game Changers International, whether you're also listening in on TikTok, make sure you say hello. Happy to have everybody tuned in once again for another awesome session on today. And on today, what are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? As you come on in the room, make sure you share the live as well. We are talking about how do we create, how do we build a financial circle of influence, a positive financial circle of influence. That's what we're talking about on today. As you come on in the room, I see some of your comments already. Good morning, Mr. Reg Cast. I see you tuning in on YouTube. Good morning, Mr. Timothy Scott. Happy to have you tuned in on Facebook as well. Let's get this party started on today, ladies and gentlemen. How do you build a financial circle of influence? What does your financial circle of influence look like? And what is a financial circle of influence? What is the benefits? What are the pros and cons? I need you all to start building and creating. So many times in life, we work on building this, we work on creating that. But when do we take time to be strategic, calculated, pinpoint accuracy to build a strong financial circle of influence? You know, there's benefits to having that in place. There's benefits of creating that financial circle of influence. So as we dive into this conversation on today, I want you all to share the live so that we can get other people involved in this conversation. You might be able to share some things that you do that may be able to help somebody else, or you could end up learning something. So let's get this party started. Oh, that's some good water right there. You know, because we're partnering with Game Changers International, one thing I do want to add in here when we talk about biblical principles incorporated into what I teach, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20 says this. Check this out. He who walks with wise men will be wise. Yep. Whether whether you have a Christian background or not, this applies to everyone across the board. Proverbs 13:20, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. So in other words, it's best to go find a strong circle of influence of wise people, people with wisdom, people that can pour into you. What does that look like for you? When you look around, do you have a strong circle of influence? Do you have people in your space, in your area that can pour into you? Or does it look a little rough? Does it look a little shaky? Are you the smartest person in the room? We got another comment in here. Let's see what we have here. If I can move this out of the way. Okay. Good morning. Finish 30-mile bicycle ride, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Congratulations to you, Mr. Tony Sherman. Health is wealth. So we already know he who walks with the wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. So we need wise people around us, Margot, as we're talking about creating a strong financial circle of influence around us. Now, there's some other good scriptures as well. Ecclesiastes 4, 9 and 10. Two are better than one. Or Proverbs 27 and 17 that says iron sharpens iron. Do you got any iron around you that sharpens you, that fine tunes you, that makes you be the best that you can be? Do you have accountability partner? Do you have people around you that will help push you to be great, to be the best you that you can possibly be? 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, bad company corrupts good character. Those are things that you want to talk about. You know, Triple D says, If you're the smartest one in the room, you need to find different room. You're not going to learn anything. Good morning, Miss Jackie. Happy to have you tune in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. She says, good morning, praise the Lord. That's what I'm talking about. And so that's why we're incorporating some biblical principles in here as well. So bad company corrupts good character. It matters who's around you. And when you're trying to build a strong financial circle of influence, when you're trying to build your team that is going to help build you up and strengthen you, because as people, we holistically need to make sure that we have ourselves together to be the best that we can be, Nikki Dorsey. Yeah, so when we look at this, one other scripture I'll give you, Luke 16, verse 10 says, faithful stewardship. It talks about being a good steward and being faithful. So it matters how we handle what we have. What we want to do today, we want to teach you how to intentionally build relationships that improve your financial knowledge. Yeah, we're specifying and we're honing in on your financial knowledge, your financial success. We want to increase opportunities. Now, that's another good point we'll get to later, and provide accountability. I know. Some people don't like accountability. Some people don't like someone pushing them to be great, but you need accountability. Learn to embrace accountability in 2026. If you can get me to my destination, and sometimes it feels a little uncomfortable but uneasy, but I accomplished my goal, then feel free, push away. That's the mentality that you have to have on today, Royal. As y'all are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, we're talking about building a strong, powerful, creating a financial circle of influence that is going to help propel you to where you need to be. When a rocket gets ready to take off, there's stuff in the system and beneath that structure that is going to help propel it. Who do you have anchoring you? Who do you have, not anchoring you, but who is a part of your foundation that helps propel you like a rocket to get to the space that you need to be in on today? Those are some of the things that you need to talk about, that we want to talk about on today. We want to create long-term wealth. Long-term wealth is something that is sustainable. So success is rarely built in isolation. People don't have success usually by themselves, but it is by creating a network. It is by creating a team. It is by creating partnerships and families that really help people get to where they need to be. So as y'all are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, we're just talking about building and creating a financial circle of influence. If you can, share the live for other people to dive in on this conversation on today. Some of the people you share the live with might end up being a part of your circle of influence that helps you all push each other to greatness. What am I talking about? Financial, it may be you create a financial circle of influence where you all do a business together. Whether it's selling t-shirts, you all may build a real estate portfolio together where all of a sudden now you create a passive income, or you're flipping houses. Some of you, it may be for like me, missions work. Building a strong financial circle of influence to do missions work, whether it's in Liberia, whether it's in Cameroon, whether it's in the Ivory Coast, wherever these things may be, creating a circle where people support one another, we can get more accomplished. Because what happens is you realize when you build a strong financial circle of influence, ladies and gentlemen, and I keep saying building and creating for a reason. When you build this, when this is created, you become very unselfish. You realize it's not about you, but by being unselfish, by joining in a strong circle, what ends up happening is not only are you unselfish, but you end up reaping the benefits of placing yourself in that circle. Yes, being unselfish, but yet you're going to reap a harvest in the process as well. Success is rarely built in isolation. It often grows through a strong network of wise, trustworthy, and capable people. You want capable people around you, ladies and gentlemen, on today. Dante says Courtney all day. That's part of his circle of influence. Now, one of the greatest assets you can possess is not found in your bank account. It's found in your relationships, your circle of people that you are around. Many people work hard, but have never experienced financial growth, ladies and gentlemen, because they lack a financial circle that challenges educates, and open doors of opportunities. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Even when, Dante mentioned Courtney Ellis, who's also now a real estate agent. We had her on Coach Steele's Finance Training. We did an interview with her. So as I met her at church and I invited her on my platform to share what she does with her women's group. I don't want to mess up the name of the women's group. So Dante, you can type it in the comment section so I don't mess it up, and I'll announce it. It allowed her to jump on the platform, talk about her women's group that she has and what they do and how they bring strong women of influence to pour into other women and motivate each other to go be great. And so just by me meeting her, it created an opportunity for her to come on this platform. And so now she's a real estate agent, but I do real estate investing. So who knows? Maybe I'll end up doing some type of real estate deal with her. Having that circle of influence opens up opportunities and opens up doors that you normally would not have walked in. Now, when she did her event earlier this year in January, it went very well. They had a great time. It was an awesome event that Courtney Ellis held for that women's group. Now, of course, not just because she came on my platform and did an interview, but my point is it added value to what she was doing. It added awareness, gave her a new audience, gave her new eyes and ears for her platform and her message. Now, let's go a little bit further. Your circle of influence helps you determine how you think. Your circle of influence will change your mind about things. You won't have as much tunnel vision. You'll have a broader understanding of things. Your circle of influence helps determine what you believe. What are your morals? What are your norms? So those are some of the things that you have to think about. Jackie says, I believe that it's found in who we are around. Your circle of influence will determine how you spend money, what you invest in, and what opportunities you recognize. A while back, I used to do a lot of coaching with kids in the community, used to do a lot of travel basketball. So I was taking kids all over from Georgia to Virginia to Orlando, Florida, Miami, South Carolina, North Carolina. We were going a little bit of everywhere. Y'all get the point. But as I was traveling with kids and with me being a real estate investor, I would tell the kids, look at that over there. Look at that piece of land. Look at that house. That's for sale. You are passing by money and opportunities and you don't realize it. And I would break things down to them. I would say, hey, let's look at the stock market. And we would look at certain things online. I said, do you know if you buy this at this price, buy low, sell high? I would talk to them about Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That had great impact because I was in their circle of influence when they were in the fifth grade, middle school, high school, opening their eyes. There's certain things that they didn't recognize, but that when they were in high school, they began to recognize and catch opportunities because of the conversation that I had around them. Some of the kids ended up investing in stocks, and some of them still do, and things like that. It's because it was poured into them early. When we are creating and building a financial circle of influence, not only do you as an adult need to create something for yourself, but if you have nieces, nephews, children, loved ones that are younger, you need to find a circle of influence for them. There are some young people that that don't have this strong circle of influence, but what you have in you is going to be important that you pour into them on today. So as we go a little bit further, let's go a little bit further. I feel myself, I'm trying to teach and not preach. So let's go a little bit further. If everyone in your financial circle manage money exactly like you do, tell me this. What kind of financial future would all of you create? Now, I keep using the word build and create because we were made in God's image and likeness. And so you should be able to build and create as well. Think about yourself. If everyone in your circle were to handle business and steward like you do, what kind of financial future would all of you create? And that's why you have to have diversity. That's why you need to have people around you that are intelligent, that are smart, that are wise, that are stronger in other areas that you may be weak in, so that you can collectively as a group be able to grow and build. And we're going to talk about that financial circle of influence, the people that you're looking for, what you need to find, what you need to identify, characteristics, things like that. We're going to talk about that. Point number one on today, ladies and gentlemen, and I know I usually have note takers in the room. So my note takers, get ready as we go over point number one on today. I'm excited about this lesson on today. Let's see here. We got Timothy Scott saying, sometimes you have to audit your circle. Ooh, that's good right there. I like that. I understand what Timothy Scott is saying when he says audit your circle. In other words, when you audit some books, when you look at your finances, you got to audit. You got to go through and look and see what you got, because there are some things that you may find that you didn't know was there. So let's go a little bit further in here. Let's see what else. I see some more comments are there. Found people who are you trying to get to. Jackie says this is good. She read Rich Dad, Poor Dad as well. So let's go a little bit further here as we look at point number one. Build relationships with people who are going where you want to go. Do y'all see that? Build relationships with people who are going where you want to go. Now, there's two parts to this. You got to build relationships with people who are going where you want to go, because they'll take that journey with you because they're headed to the same place. And I want you to build relationships with people who are where you're trying to get to. What do I mean by that? When I say build relationships with people who are already where you are trying to get to. Regcast, he's on YouTube. He says, keep your circle small. So as y'all are tuned in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, share the live for other people to jump in on this conversation, this financial literacy conversation. Also, you can make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, Coach Steele's Finance Training. We got to build relationships with people who are going where you want to go. Your financial future is influenced by the people you spend the most time with. Oh, you better think about who has your time. You better think about who has your ears. You have to think about who you give your eyes, your attention to, because all of that is going to influence you. If you're constantly around mess and foolishness and silliness, then that's where you're headed to: mess, silliness, and foolishness. You can't give your mind and your heart to 90% of foolishness and only 10% of goodness. It's going to outweigh, it's going to overtake. You're not going to get to where you're trying to go to. For me, with real estate investing and how engaged I was in it, over the past however many years, 12 years, I could not grow a real estate portfolio and decide not to be around real estate investors, decide not to be around real estate agents. I can't decide not to be around conferences and YouTubes and channels and things like that, or events that didn't have any real estate conversation in them. How would I grow? How would I learn? How would I glean? How would I have partnerships? No, I had to surround myself and create a circle of people that were actively engaged and having success in real estate. So your financial future is influenced by the people you spend the most time with. Where you're trying to go, and who do you have around you that is trying to go to the same place or that is already there? Successful people intentionally build relationships. I know some of us are introverts, right? But even if you're an introvert, you still have to get out of that place that you're in and get in an environment where you can grow. You got to get outside of yourself. You have to get uncomfortable so that you can be comfortable and be in the place where you need to be. When I say comfortable, in other words, I've made it to my destination. I'm having success. And if it took me getting uncomfortable to get there, then so be it. But I got to get in that place. So Tony Sherman says Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church is that place. All right, let's go a little bit further. Wealth builders seek mentors instead of shortcuts. Oh, I talked about this all the time, guys. In life, trying to take shortcuts usually go bad. Trying to take shortcuts, you really don't have success. Building wealth is a process. You cannot be in a haste to do everything. You have to be comfortable with doing a little by little to grow and have success. Those are biblical principles right there. Now, your network often determines your opportunities. Relationships expose you to ideas you've never considered. And your circle should include mentors. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Your circle should have business owners, investors, financial professionals, entrepreneurs, wise friends with strong financial habits. And so you got to ask yourself on today, ladies and gentlemen, who is encouraging me to grow financially? Who pushes me in that space? Who challenges my thinking? And who celebrates wise financial decisions? Who cheers me on? Who is some of my biggest cheerleaders when I'm having success? Jackie says, seeking mentors instead of shortcuts. Yes, growing little by little. Dante says, you won't get anywhere if you don't get out of your comfort zone. That's exactly it. Now, let's go a little bit further here, ladies and gentlemen. Your network influences your net worth, but not by magic. Oh, no. But by the ideas, by accountability, and opportunities it provides. Sometimes, check this out. I want y'all to catch this. This happened to me when I was younger. I was in my 20s, and a great pastor that I had in my life, Bishop M.L. Jackson, he invited this guest preacher to come down. This guest preacher was an investor. He was having great financial success. I wish I could remember the guy's name. And he was like a throwback. He had a big afro, clean guy, kept himself together. He was sharp. And I looked up to him and I admired him because he had so much financial success. And I was like, I want to be able to grow in that space as well. And I got a chance to talk to him one-on-one. And I knew he had people who invested with him. You invest with them and make money and you return on make a return, things like that. And I went to him and I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, and I was like, hey, I want to invest with what you have going on. I think he would invest in like startup businesses and things like that. And he said, well, to invest with me, you need to have at least $5,000. I don't accept anything lower than that. You need to come to the table with 5,000. And in my early 20s, and y'all know if y'all are tuned in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, you've heard some of my testimony as well before, but I was broke, did not have, struggling in my 20s, like most 20 some years old. But not only that, but my family, we had debt. And I was trying to get out of debt. I wanted to be debt free. And I didn't have $5,000. I could give him 200, maybe 300. I was going to see what he was going to do with it. But he wouldn't accept it. And I was so heartbroken. I was so sad, like just work with the little bit that I got. But what is my point? He was in that circle of influence for that moment and that season. And Bishop Jackson opened that door and that opportunity, but it motivated me. I said to myself after that, I need to find myself having $5,000. I need to build up my emergency fund. The conversation didn't end up in an opportunity for me to invest. The conversation opened up an opportunity for me to get motivated and for me to do what it took to have an extra $5,000 to invest to give someone so that it can make a profit. I said, I'm not in position. I'm not where I need to be because an opportunity opened up, but yet I was not ready to act on that opportunity. I didn't have enough. So I began to save better. I was like, I need money for an emergency fund, but I need to have some extra money to invest, to be able to say, not throw away money, but I can give this. And if it doesn't come back, if the investment doesn't work, I'll be perfectly fine. And that opportunity, if had I been ready, there's no telling how much more business we'd have been doing over the years. That was over 15 years ago. But it motivated me to get in position. Now, let's see. Let me get to point number 2 on today. I stayed on point number 1 for a minute. Let's see here. Dante says the point was that built you to go get the money and figure out how to get that money. That's exactly it. Prepare for opportunities when they arise. Let's get to point number 2 on today, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are doing awesome as y'all are tuned in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Make sure you share the live with other people as well so more people can join in on this awesome conversation on today. All right, let's see here. Like I told you all in the beginning, the theme scripture, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. So you don't want to be destroyed. You don't want to have destruction. You want to have success. You want to build wealth on today. All right. Point number 2 on today. Surround yourself with people who value financial education. This is important right here because some people say it don't matter. I was reading, I don't want to get off topic. Let me stay on topic. Surround yourself with people who value financial education. What does that mean? Knowledge expands your opportunities. If you have the knowledge and the information, you'll see opportunities and you'll realize what's out there that you didn't catch before. Wealth builders are lifelong learners. In other words, you should always be in position where you're willing to learn, where you're open to something new. You're open to learn. It doesn't mean, check this out, that you have to act on it. It doesn't mean that you have to immediately take action, but you're open to learning something new, something that may challenge what you already know. Now, let's go. How do we learn things that are new? It might be through reading books. You know what? I'm in the middle of reading a book right now. Let me see if I can find that book. Where is that book? It can't be too far from me. Y'all gonna give me 2 seconds? Okay, give me more than 2 seconds. Give me like okay, I didn't need 10 seconds. I'm in the middle of reading a new book right now. And how did I get this new book? Well, it was gifted to me. I was blessed with it by Miss Jackie. And of course, she's tuned in here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. And I'm in the middle of reading a book right now. And of course, it's called Fire Starters, God's Arsonist. So you should always be in position to be educating yourself, to reading books. And so, of course, y'all see my bookmark in here. I got my bookmark. I'm in the middle of reading, but that happened because we found ourselves in the same circle of influence and are pushing each other to do great things in ministry. So your circle of influence matters. And so that book is going to pour into me and it's going to help me. But had I not opened myself to a conversation, had I not opened myself into a meeting, then I don't receive that. So we got to get out of our comfort zone. It can be through books. It can be through podcasts. You have Coach Steele's Finance Training. Open yourself to seminars. Open yourself to coaching, mastermind groups, industry conferences. You never know who you may meet when you show up in those places that may help turn your life around. Surround yourself with people who value financial education. Your circle should regularly discuss investing, budgeting, business, taxes. Your friends and circle of people are doing things with taxes that you probably have no idea were at your fingertips to do. Your circle should be discussing real estate, personal development, practical application. If they're having financial success, interview your friend. Hey, what do you do? How do you handle your budget? What are some of your strengths and things that you have going on? Pick their brains. Don't be scared or intimidated. Let me tell you something. Most people that have financial success like sharing what they're doing. Tony Sherman says networking in the room. And so you have to understand people who have success like pouring and giving back and sharing what they're doing. Now, instead of conversations that only focus on entertainment and gossip and foolishness, intentionally create space for discussions about your financial goals, your business ideas. If you got a friend, they have a small business or a large business, ask them how did they get started? Ask them what they do. How do they turn a profit? Little things here and there. if you're in that space and that's where you're trying to go. Don't ask questions just to be nosy. Ask questions to grow if you're trying to get in that space. Ask about business ideas. Ask about investment opportunities. Ask about career advancement. When you do this, when you create a financial circle of influence that is built, that is created, you're going to find that so many great things come from that you may end up being able to have access to opportunities that other people don't. A conversation can change your financial future when it introduces you to new knowledge. Have any of you all ever heard the scripture, my people perish for a lack of knowledge? Check this out. You get a lack of knowledge by not going to get knowledge, not going to get that education. Kick down the door, get in those environments, get in those spaces and places where there are people that are ready to pour into you. Let's get to point number 3 on today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Let me post point number 3 for my note takers on today. Point number 3, build a circle that creates opportunities. What does that mean? Have any of you ever had a circle or people around you, and because you were in that circle, an opportunity presented itself? You got a chance to do something that you thought you wouldn't be able to do in immediately, but because of that circle, because of that opportunity, it gave you an extra boost or gave you access to a moment sooner than what you thought it would be. Dante says, learn from their experience or get their insight. Maybe take a deep dive in their knowledge, less brain picking, more genuine curiosity. That's exactly it. Point number 3 on today is build a circle that creates opportunities. Now, relationships often create opportunities before resumes do. Did y'all catch that? Relationships often create opportunities before resumes do. I was telling someone the other day that as many different jobs that I've had in my life, I never got a job because of a resume. Not one time have I ever received a job because of a resume. All of the great jobs and opportunities that I've had and the financial success I've had in these different spaces, places, and platforms never required me to have a resume. It was first and foremost the favor of God on my life that puts me in spaces and places and doors and platforms that I cannot describe to you all at all. But also, it is also because of relationships that I've had. I remember I got out the military. Now, you all know you don't need a resume to get in the military. But I was in the military and not by resume. Plus, what was I going to put on the resume? I graduated high school. So didn't need a resume. Got out the military. I worked on post for a little while, but that's because the contract work I did on post was a guy that I knew. And I didn't even need to go through the regular process of applying. He just hired me because he knew me. And so, I remember, and Regscast is on here tuned in on YouTube, Coach Steele's Finance Training on YouTube. I remember when I worked at the private school for a little while and I was teaching Bible classes, right? Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Because of Regscast, they were looking for someone to coach cross country, and many of you don't know it's like cross country track. It's long distance running. They needed a coach, and he was like, I know a guy who used to run cross country, high school, college, does well, works with kids, this, that, and other. So he recommended my name, and I didn't plan on coaching kids in cross country, high school, middle school level. But long story short, he asked me to go. I went. Talked to the headmaster at the school. I was like, yep, I coach, I work with kids, yada, yada, yada. And that was by word of mouth. That was by my circle of influence that I had. But in talking with her, she realized I talked to her and I was talking to her about my degree that I have in Christian studies. I went to Bruton Parker for a little while. She was like, wait, you got a degree? And she was like, "You teach Bible?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a local church. I do this, that, and other. Teach ministers training, uh, Bible study." And she was like, "We need a Bible teacher. Would you be open?" I went there just to coach kids, and ended up teaching Bible classes as well for a little while. So, circle of influence opportunities, capitalize on them. A lot of those opportunities will come through referrals, introductions, partnerships, collaboration, and shared resources. Those things happen. And like I said, I can go on and on about different stories where I just did not need resumes. I just got the job. And it was just a favor because it wasn't me and it wasn't my resume. So circle of influence matters. Um, and you know that it's crazy because most people can't say they got multiple jobs in their lives without a resume. But I'm just one of those people. Examples: you want business partnerships, real estate deals will present themselves, career opportunities, investment groups, joint ventures, the opportunities to teach. And so opportunities often travel through trusted relationships. You don't even realize, like when we're talking about building a financial circle of influence and creating this, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the circle of influence that you're around and people that are making power moves and doing great, they're just watching you. They're just observing to see, can I trust this person? Is this person ready to dive into this space? Can they have success? Are they, do they want this better than I want this for them? And when people observe and see that and they're pouring into you, those opportunities are going to show up. So I want you to become someone who creates value before expecting value. What do I mean by that? Okay, let's go deeper. I'm telling you all to create a financial circle of influence, right? Now, when you create this circle, I want you to become someone who creates value before expecting value. When you have this circle, yes, you may be expecting to learn this, you may be expecting to learn that, but I want you to challenge yourself that you're bringing value to the table as well. There's some people you're around, they're going to be doing events, and you're going to be wanting to learn, how do I do events? Or they're going to be doing something that you want to glean from. But guess what? They may not have someone at the front door to take tickets. They may not have someone who's going to take out the trash. Create value. Hey, I know you got this event going on. I know you got this coming up. Can I take out the trash for you while there? I'm at the door. I'll take tickets. Hey, I'll do attendance. You can volunteer. You can make yourself valuable and add value to what they're doing. How can you help them before they can help you? See, that changes the ball game. I'm giving you all some nuggets and some insight that you learn how to work for knowledge. You get to learn how to work for education. You get to learn how to work for insight. You get to learn how to work that you can get poured into instead of learning how to work for money. Oh, that's good right there. You know, one of the things that I learned from reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, is that I had to learn how to work for the knowledge and the information and the pouring and don't chase after the money. Because if I get the knowledge, the information, the education, and the pouring and the mentorship, the money will follow. The money will come. So let's go on today. Let's keep going a little bit further. Dante says, man, you're cooking on this live today. Appreciate that, Dante. Make sure you share the live for other people to tune in. Coach Steele's Finance Training. Let's go a little bit further. Become someone who creates value before expecting value. And as y'all are tuned in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I do want you to know this. You do have a great opportunity. I do mission work over in Cameroon, Africa. I'm blessed to oversee 9 churches over there, Christ Evangelistic Mission. And if you ever want to participate in sowing a seed in Cameroon, Africa, many of you can do it for 99 cents a month. Yes, you can sow 99 cents a month into Cameroon, Africa. You can go on my Facebook page, Simon Steele. You'll see my face. You'll see the Cameroon people, our team, leadership team behind me on the Facebook page. And you can hit the subscribe button. I know you can become my friend. I know you can follow, but you can subscribe for 99 cents a month on Facebook. And when you do, I make sure that 99 cent goes to Cameroon. We're building churches. We're feeding homeless, clothing people, people who can't afford medical care. We help out with that sometimes. We're doing a lot of great things in Cameroon, Africa. And with my subscribers, I usually post videos and things that's going on with Cameroon that the average person doesn't normally see. And actually, we just had some baptisms a couple days ago that the leadership team did over in Cameroon, Africa. So I plan on posting the baptisms in a few days, but go subscribe for 99 cents a month. Some of you may not subscribe on Facebook, but you can give through Zelle, you can give through Cash App. So it doesn't have to be through subscribing on Facebook. But hey, 99 cents a month isn't much at all, but it's a whole lot over there. We're building churches and we're posting it. You can see on the YouTube channel, I'm posting updates of the different churches that are being built, churches that we've built already in the past. We have 3 church projects going on right now. So make sure you participate in that. Now, back to building financial circles of influence. Opportunities often knock on the door of relationships before they knock on your own. Let's get to point number 4 on today. Guys, we are getting ready to come close. So y'all are doing awesome with sticking with the program that we have going on today. Let's get to point number 4. All right. What does point number 4 say on today? Y'all should see it on your screen right there. And we'll get to point number 4. Remember, our theme scripture is Proverbs 13, verse 20. He who walks with wise men will be wise. What does that mean to walk with someone? To y'all in that comment section, what does it mean to walk with someone? Do you know to walk with someone, or to in Tony Sherman's instance, to ride a bike with someone? When you walk with someone, that means you're very close. That means this person has allowed you to get close with them. That means there's opportunities to talk. There's opportunities to fellowship. When you walk with someone, what does that mean to you all to walk with someone? You know, I remember looking back in Genesis, and the Bible talks about Enoch, this gentleman named Enoch, and it says, Enoch walked with God and he was not, for God took him. He was translated. What does it mean to walk with God? If Enoch was walking with God and he was not, in other words, this is so good. Like sometimes you can walk with someone so much. You can talk with someone so much. You can laugh with someone so much. You can fellowship with someone so much that people start thinking you brothers and sisters. That people start thinking that y'all have to be together. Some people, they say y'all look alike. You quit just being yourself and you take on some of the qualities and characteristics of the person that you're gleaning from. In other words, y'all start rubbing off on each other. Now, let's go a little bit further. Point number 4, choose accountability over comfort. Come on, Bray. Come on, AB. You got to choose accountability over comfort. Some of you just want to be comfortable, but you need to find an accountability partner that makes you uncomfortable. Healthy accountability helps protect your financial future. You want someone that just will not give up on you, somebody that just will not throw in the towel, but they want to see you do great. But you got to help yourself too. You got to want to be great. And so you got to find a good accountability partner. A strong financial circle asks difficult questions. Yeah. You know, I do a lot of financial coaching, working with people one-on-one. Many of you know this. You know, I teach the HELOC strategy, using home equity line of credit to consolidate debt, get rid of debt, pay off your mortgage. Most people and most clients that I have, let's say they have like a 30-year amortized loan where the bank makes you pay for the mortgage like twice, right? We already know that. And so, especially now more than ever with the interest rates where they are. But I do strategic coaching and show people how to eliminate debt. I show people how to use the HELOC strategy. So if you got a 30-year mortgage and a bunch of consumer debt, car notes, credit cards, personal loans, student loans, solar panels, all of that stuff. Why did I say it so fast? Because I teach it every day. I coach it every day. I can't forget it. Working with clients who makes millions, clients who make hundreds of thousands of dollars, clients who only make a couple $1,000s. It ranges in the people that I work with. But most people have the same problem. How do I get out of this debt? And I teach them, I coach them, I give them knowledge, education, information, tasks, assignments to help them get out of debt. And I have to ask the hard questions. Are you staying on budget? Are you investing consistently? Are you avoiding unnecessary debt? Are you avoiding bad debt? Are you making emotional financial decisions? Are we staying on track, meeting with them monthly to make sure that they get to debt freedom, that they reach their financial goals? It is very intense, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable. But after Coach Steele has coached you a while, you get used to it. It's like, okay, this isn't so bad. I already know he's going to ask me the difficult questions, but I need this to help propel me and push me to where I want to be. You got to really think about how bad you want to be where you want to be. If you don't want to be there bad enough, then maybe you don't want a good accountability partner. Now, good accountability, what are you looking for when you're looking for a strong accountability partner? They encourage discipline. They help you prevent you from making costly mistakes. That was one benefit for me, guys, when I was doing real estate investing, being able to call a real estate mentor. Hey, I'm thinking about buying this property. I'm thinking about jumping on this deal. Hey, look at this deal. What do you think of it? And them to be able to pick it apart and give their opinions and insight. Why don't you go back and renegotiate for this? Why don't you go back and do that? It saved me thousands of dollars. I have a real estate, whenever I get ready to make a move, I have a real estate investment team. I have people that I bring to the table before I do a deal to make sure it looks good. What does my team look like? What does my accountability partners look like? Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go get a good real estate agent. Now, when I give you these examples, I want you to use your own example for whatever space that you're going to be in, right? So you got to think about that and how this relates to you. So I have a good real estate agent that's going to tell me like it is, that maybe has some history on the property, may have shown this property to some other people as well, maybe knows the other agent or the home buyer that's involved. You know, they're doing their due diligence, their research. Also, because I like long-term real estate investing, in other words, I like putting tenants in the property that pay me rent. Some people call it passive income, whatever you want to call it, it's income, right? So my property management team, I get my property management team out there. Hey, what do you think about this? Here's the property address. Can you do some research for me and tell me what is the comps in this area? What's the rent looking like in this area? Because I need to know how much rent I can potentially pull from this thing without maxing it out, like being at the height of the market. In other words, you know, if the max rent in the area is 1,600, I may not want to have my property at 1,600. Maybe I want it at 1,550. So I'm not so maxed that it makes the tenant want to leave, right? I want to make sure that I make this comfortable for the tenant and for myself, because I'd rather have a tenant that stays long term instead of having a high turnover rate. So I'm getting my property management and team. Hey, does it look like we're gonna have to paint in here? Does it look like the carpet needs to be done over? Because my property management team knows when a property is tenant ready and when it's not, versus my eyes saying I can put somebody in here today. See, that's going to determine if I have to put some more money into it, right? Who else is going to be on my team? Well, I need to know what the financing is going to look like. If I don't buy the property in cash, what does the financing look like? So then I'm going to get with my broker, get with the brokerage. Hey, I'm going to talk with him. Hey, you know what, Mr. Moody, like, all right, this is what I'm looking like. This is what I want to do. This is potentially how much down, you know, investment properties, you got to put like 20% down. Can you run some scenarios for me without running my credit? And what if I buy it for this much? Because we're in the middle of negotiating. I may buy it for this much down. Okay, the interest rate might be here. Could I buy it down a few points? Maybe I don't want to buy it down. You know, going through these different scenarios. All right. Okay, now I know the financing. Every month I'm going to have to pay $1,000 a month. Okay, the comps in the area are $1,600 a month. So if I got to pay $1,000 a month for financing and the rent is $1,500 a month, maybe there's $500 profit a month. How much did I put down? What is the cash on cash return? You see, like I'm putting my team together to figure out, does this deal make sense or not? I'm building my financial circle of influence in the space that I'm in so that I'll have success. Okay, I got the mentor. I'm running the deal by him or her to see if that makes sense. Okay, who else do I have in there? Guess what? Before I ever close any deal, I'm bringing in my inspector. I love my inspector. the home inspector, because he's going to go through plumbing, AC, the roof, you name it. He's going to get in all these spaces and places and dig and pry to make sure electricals and all this stuff is working. Anybody ever bought a property or got into something, all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, something broke down? All of a sudden, the people you bought it from, they didn't tell you that this had an issue too. Now you're frustrated. My inspector, he does all of that stuff. He looks in all of that. And if he finds something, I'm going back to the table and we're renegotiating, because I'm not going to be left stuck holding that issue. Nope. If we find an issue and that issue costs, I don't know, $10,000 to repair, I'm going to find a contractor and see, hey, can you repair this for 10,000? Now we need to take 10,000 off the price. So now I got to renegotiate the deal. I hope y'all are staying with me, and I hope this makes sense, right? As I'm going through this. My point is, I have a team of people that I work with before I even do a real estate deal. You got to have your financial circle of influence to help you push you to where you need to be. Now, of course, accountability, yes, they encourage discipline. It helps you prevent you from making costly mistakes, keeps you focused on long-term goals. Warning signs of an unhealthy circle are people who are constantly pressuring you to overspend for no reason. Competition based on appearances. They're worried about the outside and don't care about you trying to build wealth. You know, a lot of times when you're trying to build wealth, ladies and gentlemen, wealth is built with the things that you cannot see. I wish I could go further there, but I'm not, because I want to make sure I close this out in about 5 minutes. Warning signs of an unhealthy circle are people who have poor financial habits and people who discourage you from making wise decisions. Real friends don't encourage financial foolishness. They encourage financial faithfulness. I want you to remember that. Let's get to point number 5 and let's get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Point number 5, become a person who adds value to the circle. That's something that I talked about earlier. Don't just look for successful people. Become someone they want in the circle. Become a valuable piece to that puzzle in that circle, where so many people are saying, man, I got to have this person in my circle. I need to be around that person. This person, like, they are referencing you to other people. You become a commodity based off your circle and their word of mouth, something Tony Sherman mentioned earlier. You got to develop qualities. I told you all I was going to talk about qualities and characteristics. You want to have integrity. You want to have reliability, generosity, teachability. You want to have consistency, and you want to have humility, and you want to have a willingness to serve. You should ask yourself these questions when you find your circle of people. How can I help someone in this circle? What knowledge can I share? Who can I encourage? Who can I lift up? Who can I motivate? What up, J-Mo? I know we need to connect, J-Mo, so let's make sure we make that happen as well. And so you got to understand the law of value. People are drawn to those who consistently contribute. The strongest financial circles are built on mutual value, not personal gain. You can't always be in it to win it for yourself. Characteristics of a strong financial circle. Now, I'll get to the characteristics of a strong financial circle, and then we'll get out of here. But I want you all to know that, you can't just be in it to win it for yourself. Now, when I say that, keep in mind, Coach Steele's Finance Training, I am a huge proponent of getting paid for what you're good at. Like, even with Coach Steele's Finance Training, when I work with kids or sometimes volunteer in the community, there are some things that I'll do for free. But, for the most part, I still have a family to feed. I got people to take care of. So when I give someone my card, Coach Steele's Finance Training and things like that, of course, as y'all see right here, Coach Steele's Finance Training, and I got t-shirts on my website that I sell as well. I don't work for free. I got to get paid. I got a family to feed. So there's a balance. Contribute, give, support, help, volunteer, but you still need to feed your family. You still need to know your value, right? So I'm not saying that everything has to be free. So characteristics of a strong financial circle. Members should include members should encourage one another to do a few things. Don't live beyond your means, but your circle should encourage you to live below your means so that you have the opportunity to put aside, create emergency fund, invest, do things like that. You should be investing consistently. Your team, your circle should encourage you to do that. Now, of course, with coaching, when I'm working with people that have a lot of debt, of course, I tell them to eliminate debt first, then start focusing on investing more as well. Eliminate debt responsibly. Like, don't go gamble and hope you hit big money to eliminate debt. Have a real strategy when it comes to eliminate debt. Build a business that allows you to have some tax write-offs. Of course, increase financial literacy, hold one another accountable. Yes, meet up with one another, push one another to greatness, ladies and gentlemen. Think long-term instead of chasing quick money. Do not try to get rich chasing quick money. Don't try to get rich. Even when it comes to cryptocurrency, I invest in cryptocurrency. I've made money with cryptocurrency, but I invested long term. I didn't rush to try to get rich quick. So many people have FOMO, fear of missing out. Then they rush and do stuff, and then they end up investing bad. Be patient. Grow your wealth little by little. Think long term instead of chasing quick money. Now, I want you to write down the name. Here's my challenge for y'all on today. I want you to write down the names of 5 people currently influencing your financial life. Y'all got 5 people? This is your homework assignment. Write down 5 names. Now, here's part 2 of your homework assignment. Next to each name, I want you to ask, do they encourage wise financial decisions? And some of y'all that are listening, you may have to go back towards the end and watch this over again. Share this with other people as well. Do they encourage wise financial decisions? Are they helping you grow? Game Changers International. Do they help you grow? Do they challenge me to improve myself? And are they supporting your goals? And that's not by just them giving you money. There's more than one way to support your goal. Am I becoming more disciplined because of this relationship that I have? Then identify one new relationship you can intentionally pursue this month that aligns with your financial goals. Oh, that's a good challenge for you right there. That is a great challenge for you all on today. Because a financial circle of influence is not about finding wealthy people to benefit from. It's about surrounding yourself with people of character, people with good qualities, wisdom, and purpose who help each other grow. Because as you learn and as you serve and build trust, ladies and gentlemen, your circle becomes a source of accountability, opportunities, encouragement, and lasting impact for everyone. So those are some of the things that I want you to think about. Reach out to a mentor, attend a networking event or educational gathering, read a financial book or listen to one finance podcast. Go back and watch some Coach Steele finance training. Encourage someone else's financial goals. Introduce 2 people who can help one another grow. This is your chance to give back. These are some of the things that I want you all to think about. Show me your financial circle, game changers. Show me your financial circle, people that are listening on Facebook, Coastal Crew 2019, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're listening from. Show me your financial circle, and I'll show you the direction of your financial future. Wealth grows where wisdom and relationships, accountability, and generosity come together. Oh, this is so good right here. Build a circle that doesn't just help make you money. It helps you become the kind of person who can create, steward, and multiply wealth for generations to come. We're talking about leaving a legacy in those spaces and places where you decide to grow. I want to leave a legacy in Cameroon, Africa, but I got to make sure that I put the right circle around me. Cameroon, Africa is about me being obedient to God and me being generous. It's not where I get rich, but it's somewhere where I want to grow and build a team that is strong, that lasts well beyond me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training on today. You did an awesome job. Remember what I said. If you want to donate, if you want to give to Cameroon, Africa, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's Zelle, Cash App, or go to my Facebook page. And for 99 cents a month, subscribe, become a subscriber. Don't just follow, don't just become a friend, but subscribe to the Facebook page, and it'll be 99 cents a month. That money goes directly to Cameroon, Africa. Doesn't go to my pockets. I'm blessed. God has been good to me, has taken care of me. So I'm not financially struggling or hurting. So when people donate, people give to me. I don't care if they give me birthday money or Happy New Year's or whatever it is. When people give me money, I send it to Cameroon to help with building churches and ministry and things like that. You all stay tuned. Can make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well, but also on Facebook. I'll be posting some videos about Cameroon in the next few days. We had some baptisms that took place. Oh my gosh, it's not like in a regular, at our churches, we have like a baptism pool that we have in there. They are out at the river baptizing people. I love it. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. They're singing and things like that. You probably will like what you see, and I'll post it on the platforms. Appreciate everybody tuned in, and you all have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'm off to enjoy the rest of my day. Peace.